Welcome back to the Seaport District, brought to you by Pier 17. So the allegations surrounding Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson continue to pile up. Since Monday, 7 more lawsuits have been filed against Watson, bringing the total to 14, including allegations that Watson sexually assaulted a woman this month. Other allegations include exposing himself and harassing a woman by trying to get her to perform oral sex. NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy said last week that the matter is under review pertaining to the league's personal conduct policy, and the Texans said in a statement that they would stay in close contact with the NFL during its investigation. Stephen A., before I kick things off to you, let me just say this quickly here.
Sure.
So I've been in sports since 2006. Before I came to ESPN, I don't know, I've been here 5 or 6 years now. I was at NFL Network for about 4 years. Huge NFL fan, followed it very closely all along. Mm-hmm. Given the seriousness and quantity of these allegations, we're talking 14 lawsuits, 24 total claims, we're only 10 days in. I personally, as a woman, would like to hear more from the NFL. The matter is under review is just simply not enough. I understand it is too early for findings. I understand there's a process, but based on the history, you need to show us that there's a real process taking place, a real investigation, some transparency, that you take these matters seriously. We've discussed this before. 6 years ago, the NFL brought in Lisa Friel and other women and created a committee. I mean, are these just talking points, or are these actual resources to address this behavior? This happened after the NFL failed women with the Ray Rice situation. So we have an opportunity here to be proactive rather than reactionary. And that's been the knock against the NFL. You can get in front of it, you can acknowledge it, you can condemn the behavior, and you can address it. And I want to take it one step further, and then obviously want you guys to react and what you think the NFL should do here. If I'm also the NFL, I'm putting Deshaun Watson on the commissioner's exempt list. I look at it this way. He's getting protected, he's getting paid, but he needs to lay low, and they need to deal with this. And when and if his name is cleared, then he can return. But when I'm saying 24 total claims against him, you can't have this man on a football field right now. Max, if this was you or this was you, Stephen A., you wouldn't be on First Take today. So address it. He can continue to get paid, and he can return when he clears his name. Again, an opportunity for the NFL to show that they respect women, they protect women. 47% of the NFL audience, that's nearly half, is women. So we support you, and we need to know that you support us. Mm-hmm. Stephen A., your reaction to what I said and what you think the NFL should do.
Well, first things first, Molly. Excuse me, you may not remember, but I do. This July will mark your 6th year at First Take. You know, I had a lot to do with you being here. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm proud of it. So let me be very, very clear.
Appreciate you.
You know, it's approaching 6 years that you will be here on First Take. You started in 2015. That's number one. Number two, I don't disagree with you. I do think that the NFL saying we're investigating the matter is not good enough. You certainly do not want to convict him in a court of public opinion when not even criminal charges have been filed. These are allegations. They are civil suits that have been levied against him, but that doesn't negate the seriousness with which it needs to be addressed. I remember whether it's Adrian Peterson with the situation with his kid or various other instances where the commissioner's exempt list was put there for a reason. Because if you impugn or sully the shield in any way, they have a license to act. It's what they've collectively bargained for. It's the power that the commissioner's office has at its disposal. And if ever there was a situation where it should be strongly considered, it should be now. Here's what we have to recognize about the commissioner's exempt list. If he gets put on the commissioner's exempt list, chances are the Houston Texans will still have to pay his $10 million salary max he's due for the upcoming season. Now, because he wouldn't be allowed on the field, nor would he be allowed to practice, Houston, at that particular moment in time, would have the license to cut him and therefore, you know, just eradicate, you know, the agreement that they had reached with them where they agreed to pay him over the $760 million. I don't support that. If until you can prove that he's guilty, do not take that money out of his pocket. Taking him off the field is one thing. Literally taking that money out of his pocket is an entirely different matter altogether. I'm sorry. He has not had criminal charges filed against him. He has not been found guilty of anything. These are accusations and allegations he has categorically denied. He's got one of the best attorneys in the business in Rusty Hart. And I'm here to tell you something right now. He's considered one of the best. And so the fact that he hasn't said much, trust me, he's compiling his own information. And you will hear from him. I'm not talking about some quote. I'm not talking about some press conference. You're going to see this man's coming. Because from everything that I've been told just about him as a lawyer, and I had the pleasure of meeting him on a couple of occasions at Houston Rockets games because he sits courtside for those games. The man doesn't play. And this is the guy that is representing Deshaun Watson. But Molly makes a very, very valid point as it pertains to the accusations not being ignored. There are entirely too many to ignore. And the NFL simply adopting a wait-and-see approach is inconsistent. I'm not even debating whether it's right or wrong. It's inconsistent with what the NFL, I said NBA, what the NFL has historically done, at least in recent memory, when it comes to that commissioner's exempt list. There are people that will put on that list, okay, for far less. And so when you take that into consideration, I definitely think it's something that should happen. It's something that will happen. And I just don't think that Deshaun Watson should lose his money unless he is found, at the very least, unless criminal charges have been filed. And even then, he's still innocent until proven guilty. I don't think money should be taken out of his pocket. But I do think there needs to be a halt on all this NFL stuff. And the Houston Texans, you don't get to trade him either. Not that anybody will want to take him at this particular moment in time. But you don't get to trade him. And you don't get to cut him, so you don't have to pay him either. He was your teammate. He was your guy. He gets paid, but he goes on the commissioner's exempt list.
It's 14 different women now who've come forward. 14.
Yeah.
They were the same attorney reported.
And 9 more expected.
These things, the facts will come out.
24 claims.
Reportedly, they're with the same attorney because they keep say, hey, this happened to me too. 14, this is not he said, she said. At this moment, what it looks like is he said, and she said, and she said, and she said, and she said it 14 times so far. I don't think he can be on a football field. Now, there's a process for this, and I'm saying wait till the facts come out. That was my original comment.
Yeah.
There's a certain standard, and the standard is very high. The burden of proof is very high in a criminal case because you're talking about someone's freedom. In a civil case, the standard is lower, the burden of proof, because we're talking about money and not freedom. It's less important. And for the NFL, the standard is lower still. And so I don't see at this moment, the way it looks from where we're sitting, why the NFL wouldn't do precisely what Molly said. I may have said that was an overreaction by the NFL several days ago, when at first it was a woman coming forward. Because at that point, as I said, it's he said, she said, let's wait till the facts come out. 14, and either there's a vast conspiracy or many women feel that they have been mistreated by Deshaun Watson. And I think, Molly, your prescribed course of action is a wise one.
Listen, here's the deal. And we have to pay attention to this as well. Deshaun Watson wanted nothing to do with the Houston Texans as recently as a month and a half ago. Wanted nothing to do with them. Now they may be his only recourse for getting paid to remain on the roster. We've heard nothing in support of Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans. I don't think that can go unnoticed. I don't like that, by the way, because, this guy, by all intent and purposes, was a high character guy until these allegations came down. So why is it that the Houston Texans, we're not hearing anything from them at all? That strikes me as a tad bit odd. That raises my antennas. But in the end, what it comes down to is that these lawsuits that have been filed against them, and then just as an aside, it's like, damn, Max, I guess I go to a hotel. What you have people raising their antennas and thinking about with Deshaun Watson is that, you go to when you go on vacation, you go in a hotel, you might go into a spa or something. But who has this many massage therapists, for crying out loud? How many do you need? So there's so many things that people are saying about it. But in the end, I'm not going to question. As far as I'm concerned, he's innocent until proven guilty. These allegations doesn't mean he's guilty of it. What I will say, however, is this. It is appropriate for him to be put on that commissioner's exempt list. And at the very least, the $10 million that he's due by the Houston Texans, The only thing that should compromise that is a suspension on the part of the league of Deshaun Watson. If he doesn't get suspended by the league, he should get his money for the 2021 season. Period.
And we still,
No question.
Sorry, go ahead, Molly.
No, go. I was just going to say, and just so there's no gray area for anyone at home just joining us, as we all agree that he should be put on the commissioner's exempt list as of right now, he would still continue to be paid. Why this process pans out. And as far, again, when I'm asking to hear more from the NFL, it's not to condemn Deshaun Watson. It's to condemn this type of behavior, if true, and that they're taking this matter very seriously because they have dropped the ball in the past. And that's why they've created committees and brought in women like Lisa Friel to get in front of it. So hopefully that's something that they will consider doing because, again, 47% of the NFL audience is female, and we support you, so please support us as well. Max, did you have something else you wanted to say?
No, it's okay, Molly. I think we can end on that note.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. We will leave it there. Good discussion, gentlemen. Thank you. None of us take pleasure in having to discuss these type of topics. When we come back here on First Take, Magic Johnson will join us. Lots to discuss.